When my son died, I believed the universe had taken everything from me. Not just my child, but my purpose, my future, my reason to wake up. We scattered his ashes under a gray sky, and I thought that was the end of the story. I was wrong. 4 days later, my phone rang. A voice I barely recognized said, "Mr. Fontaine, this is Daniel, Michael's friend." He sounded nervous, shaken. "I found something hidden in Michael's workshop." A pause. "You need to see it." Then he added something that made my blood run cold. "And please, don't tell Christine. I think she knows I have it." That moment, my heart didn't just sink, it stopped. What could my son possibly be hiding from his own wife? The next morning, I drove to Calgary. We met in a quiet cafe, far from familiar faces. Daniel didn't waste time. He pulled out a small USB drive and placed it on the table. "This," he said quietly, "contains everything." When he plugged it into his laptop, my world changed. Folders, dozens of them, bank records, emails, photos, recordings. Every click, every file felt like another piece of my son speaking from beyond the grave. Christine, my son's wife, had been stealing from him. Not small amounts, hundreds of thousands, carefully hidden, disguised. Money flowing into an account under a different name, Bradley Weston. Then came the photos, Christine and another man, handing hands, laughing, kissing. Dates matched the times Michael was away, trusting her, loving her. But that wasn't the worst part. Daniel opened a document, a letter, written by my son just 2 weeks before he died. "Dad, if you're reading this, something has happened to me." My hands began to shake. I discovered Christine's affair months ago. I was preparing for divorce, but she found out. Every word felt heavier than the last. She's been watching me, asking about my health, encouraging me to increase my life insurance. I stopped breathing. "Dad, if something happens to me, please don't believe it was natural." That was the moment I knew. My son didn't die. He was killed. The police didn't believe me at first. Brain aneurysm, they said. Natural causes. But I had spent 30 years in investigation. I knew when something didn't add up. So I did what I had to do. I stayed in her house, smiled at her, ate dinner with her, watched her pretend to grieve, and I waited. She left every few days, said she was visiting friends, getting therapy. I followed her. She wasn't grieving. She was meeting him, Bradley Weston, the same man from the photos, the same man from the funeral. They weren't even hiding it anymore. That's when I started collecting evidence, photos, receipts, patterns. Then, one night, I found something. 2 small bottles, hidden in the basement, labels removed, and in her car, receipts from a pharmacy, far away, paid in cash. One name stood out, potassium chloride, a substance that, in the wrong hands, can kill without leaving obvious traces. My mind connected everything. If injected properly, it could look like a natural death, even a brain aneurysm. I needed proof, not suspicion, proof. So I requested further testing, private lab analysis, and then I waited. Days passed, then weeks. Every moment felt like torture. One night, she handed me tea, smiled, said it would help me sleep. I pretended to drink it. The next morning, the plant I poured it into was dead. That was all I needed to know. When the lab results finally arrived, I already knew the truth, but seeing it made it real. potassium levels far above normal, evidence of injection. My son had been murdered. I took everything to the police. Again, this time they listened. The case was reopened. Now it was only a matter of time. I continued pretending, playing the grieving father, until the day came. Police cars pulled into the driveway. Christine stepped outside, confused, then afraid, and finally exposed. She looked at me as they placed her in handcuffs, and for the first time, her mask broke. Bradley was arrested too. They had planned everything for months. The trial was brutal. Every detail, every betrayal, every lie laid bare in front of the world. In the end, the verdict was clear. Guilty. First-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison. And just like that, the woman who destroyed my son's life lost her own. But this story isn't about revenge. It's about something else. Justice. Because in the end, my son didn't just leave evidence, he left a mission. Today, his name lives on, helping families find the truth, exposing hidden crimes, making sure no one else is silenced. The pain never leaves, but now it has purpose. And every night, when I look at the stars, I make the same promise. I'm still fighting, son, and I always will.